Let's go on to Burning Rain then.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're still with Dead Daisies, but you've taken the rest of 2019 off.
Actually, no. Dead Daisies is going to kick up in a little bit. I don't know exactly when, but
Okay.
Dead Daisies is my day job. That's
Yeah.
my main gig. But Burning Rain is a passion thing that we've been doing it for 20 years, and so Keith and I, we basically released the record around the Dead Daisies schedule so that we could have time to promote it and do what we're doing. And
so it's not the rest of the year then that Dead Daisies are taking off?
No.
Just
Dead Daisies
2 or
is
3 months, something like that?
We got some things up our sleeve, but then there's some other breaks coming up where I can pick it up with Burning Rain again.
Right, cool.
So, but this is great. I mean, right now we're here for a month doing acoustic
Doing
promo
an acoustic
and
tour around Europe.
yeah, and we would have done the whole band, but we signed on for a festival, the Frontiers Festival, at the end of this month, and they preferred that we didn't do full band gigs before that festival.
Yeah.
So this is a good way to kind of just meet people again, reintroduce the band, and give it a shot for the first time.
Let's go right back to the start of Burning Rain then, because your first album came out 20 years ago, over 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
You released a couple of albums within a couple of years, and then nothing until, when was it, 2013?
2013, yeah.
2013?
Yep, that's right around the time when Keith had been working with Ronnie Montrose first. He got the call to work with Ronnie Montrose, and then I joined Dio, and so we were both doing separate things, and then Whitesnake took me away for 12 years. But during the time in Whitesnake, I was asked at some point during the beginning of Whitesnake to do another Burning Rain record, and Keith and I just couldn't have time to write and get it together. But finally, we got a batch of songs together that we thought could be good for the Epic Obsession record. And then the key was how are we going to get this recorded, because I'm busy with Whitesnake. So basically, I'd work with Whitesnake Monday through Friday, and then when I could, I'd fly home on Friday night, be with the family during the daytime, and then I'd at night record with Keith on the weekends, and then go back to David Monday.
Okay.
And then periodically, I'd get a week off or something from Whitesnake. Maybe David had something or whatever. And there was one time when I said, David, I need a week off to mix this record. I got to get it done. And then once it came out, then again, it's been 6 years. So.
But with this record, it seems like it's the first time you've had time to push it, really, because like I say, you've had day jobs previously that you had to concentrate on.
Yeah.
Now you've got the time to go out on the road to promote it with a month-long acoustic tour. So it seems now that you can concentrate. It's your baby that you.
That's right. We want to,
get out there.
We made an effort to make this record, and I wanted to show that, I wanted to come over to Europe and the UK, and we'll be doing some weekend stuff in the States. We had a record release party last week in Las Vegas where we played as a full band.
How did that go?
It was great. It was our first gig, so it was some butterflies and stuff, but it went really well. With great turnout. It was packed. And
how long has this lineup of Burning Rain been together?
Let's see. It's now 4, 5, 7:30. No, it's we got Bloss at the middle of last year, I guess, and Brad first, and then Bloss came in. Bloss I met from the residency. He took over the drum job. He had been doing Blue Man Group,
all right,
and just living in Vegas, raising his kids, and then he got the Rock Vault gig, and that's when I really hung out with him and heard him play. And then he took off to Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the end of last year.
Cool.
But I love his playing. He's incredible. He live, on the record, everything. He's amazing. He's potentially legendary. He's like a Tommy Aldridge type of legendary.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not going to say. I don't want his head to go giant right now, but I feel he's amazing.
You've worked with some absolutely amazing drummers, though. Like you said, Tommy Aldridge, Brian Tichy, Dean Castronovo. You worked with some amazing drummers.
I know. I love it. I've been so lucky. That's what I was talking about. And even prior to that, I worked with Carmine.
Yeah.
I had jammed a few times with Vinny.
So he was still in. Vinny was still in Dio
At the beginning when I first jammed with him.
when
Yeah.
you first joined.
But yeah, so Bloss, and then we got Brad prior to that, and Keith had worked with Brad. Maybe it was, I think he'd done some Montrose gigs, but Brad had been in Y&T for several years after Phil Kennemore passed away.
Yeah.
And Brad is like, he is the glue of the band right now. He's like the cat that takes care of everything and makes sure everybody's on time and does everything they're supposed to do. And Bloss is very chill, as you can tell from, he's a really really down to earth guy, very nice, and just is quiet until he gets behind the drums, and then he just terrorizes them.
Yeah.
And then I like to joke, me and Keith, he's burning and I'm the rain. Like, he's the fire guy, I'm the water guy. So when he starts burning, I start putting him out, and when I'm starting to cool off, he tries to boil me up, you know. And we have that relationship, we have that rub, me and Keith, you know. But 20 years, so it's something there, you know.
So what's the writing process been like for Face the Music? Have you written together? Because do you live in different parts of the States?
No. I'm only well, Bloss lives in Las Vegas, and actually Bloss and Brad didn't get to write on Face the Music because it was done during Dead Daisies breaks.
So yourself and Keith have written everything?
We did, but on the next record I would love to write with everybody equally, because it's another thing I learned from Dead Daisies, that when everybody's involved, you get more.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It took me a while to get to that point, because I was so focused on trying to get it exactly how I want it, that, you know, you feel like you got it all figured out, but you don't. You need other people to bounce these things off of. And it worked really good with me and David, because he would have something and I'd work on it and then bring it back to him, and then he'd work on it, or I'd bring him music periodically. And actually I brought him a lot of music, and I would just keep throwing things at him until I like that, I'll have that one, you know, or whatever. But with David and I, we'd focus in a cave for months at a time, and then we'd develop this record through demos. Yeah. And the demos were actually a lot of times even more, I like the demos even better than the records sometimes. But getting the Dead Daisies, it's a situation where everybody works together at every aspect. And when you're right, we'd sit down with everyone playing guitar, and we'd come up with, hey, I got this riff. We could do. Why don't you try it in a different key, or let's add this part, or whatever. I would never come in with a full song, because it's really nice to develop it from the ground zero with everybody. And Bloss plays guitar, Brad plays guitar. And
in Dead Daisies, John's is a great guitar player.
He's a great guitar player.
Dean's an excellent singer.
Dean can play guitar too.
Can he?
And Brian Tissue is a great guitar player.
Right.
So that, when I joined the Dead Daisies the first day, it was funny. It was like the five of us and the producer, Marty Fredrickson, all sitting down with a guitar, and I was just like, this is too much. I don't know what to focus on. So Marty broke us up into groups of two, me and Brian, and then Marco and John, and then David and Marty, and everybody was, the task of the day was to write 2 songs. So just write 2 songs, and then we'd get together and we'd pick the ones we liked, then we'd break them apart as a band and rewrite them. Yeah. And that's how we did the first Make Some Noise record, the one I did with them. And then same way when we did Burn It Down. So for the future, looking forward for Burning Rain, I would love to do it that way, because it's really cool, because everyone gets invested in the ideas, and if something's not good enough, you find out, you know.
Yeah.
You go, it's like, hey, it's obvious that this idea, it doesn't matter where it came from, because by that time everyone's got their 2 cents in on it. So you have no problem letting it go, and we can revisit it down the road. But right now we got this batch. The way
you're saying you work now reminds me of how Monty Python worked, because they split themselves into 2s.
Yeah.
I can't remember how, there was 6 members, I think, of Monty Python, and they split themselves into 2s, and that's how they worked. And then they swapped over the work with another couple, and they just worked on each other's work then.
Yeah. Well, it's good because, like I say, everyone gets into each idea, and everyone tries to make each idea the best it can be. So, with this new Burning Rain record, I'm really happy about it. I think it's got some really cool stuff.
Absolutely,
and
it is a great record.
But
congratulations on it, because it is an absolutely outstanding record.
Thanks. But what I was thinking, how much better it would be with those two guys' involvement in the writing process, because it's a step further, that you can take something. So, but anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah. Did you have any influences on writing this record? Because to me, there's a few songs on there that are very Aerosmith influenced.
Yeah, it's not on purpose, but as long as something happens naturally, then I'm cool with it. Yeah. I could never sit down and go, hey, let's try and sound like Whitesnake, or let's try and sound like Aerosmith, or whatever. It would basically happen that I would start playing something like the song Lorelei, for example.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's one of my favourite songs.
Yeah, me too. I really love it. And the key to that song is it's got this double harmony melody that is kind of reminiscent of Kings and Queens by Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about it until, the harmony went on there. And then I was like, it just happened, it's like that's not on purpose.
Yeah,
I don't think there's no way Keith could have taken those chords that I gave him and said the chords don't sound like that. So it just came on accident. He came up with the melody and then put a harmony, and then it's like, wow, that's kind of got a Kings and Queens flavor, but it's much heavier, and lyrically it's something a little different. So as long as it happens naturally like that, I'm cool with it. If something sounds blatant, like, if you said, hey, you got a song that sounds like Walk This Way, and it's clear that, it's got the same groove, kind of a same riffy guitar part, then, that maybe wouldn't be something I'd be so excited about.
Yeah, like I say, if it's by accident and then you kind of notice it later on, you're cool with that.
There's a few, there's some Aerosmith influences. Keith, I think, brings a little more of the Aerosmith side. Me, there's some Whitesnake influences, or Deep Purple things, or definitely Zeppelin. I love, stuff like Shelter has a Zeppelin vibe.
Well, you've recorded Kashmir with Burning Rain, haven't you?
Yeah, we did it as a bonus track, I think, for the first record.
Yeah, he did an excellent job, and Kashmir should be one of those songs that nobody even attempts to cover, but you did a great job.
You know what? I want to play that too live when we do it as a band, because it's really different. It's a bit heavier than the original, but it's kind of cool, and I love the way Keith sings it. Keith sounds amazing on the new record. He really is. Lyrically, I really love the direction that he went in. I asked him, like, he would, when we would jam, I'd play a riff. I actually can't even play right now. My hands are frozen.
It's cold in here, yeah.
But I'd play a riff like Revolution, and he would kind of scat something, and he scatted something, and it had a political vibe to me a little bit, and I was like, go with that. That's cool. Of course we can do songs about, relationships and sex and all that stuff, but let's do something different, on this one. So we went in some different directions, and I really love what he did. 99% of the lyrics on Burning Rain stuff is Keith. There's been a couple times when I would dabble, or I'd get a hard on to say, like, I want this. I really love the way you said this, and he's like, yeah, but I can say it cooler. I'm like, no. It's how you did it was great. Just leave it. So he did a great job on it, and he sounds awesome. All the guys did really well. So excellent.
Well, Doug, because it's so cold in here, you need to stay warm, don't you, for your gig tonight?
It is. The only thing is my big boots is the only thing that's warm.
Yeah, so you need to go somewhere and get your hands warm again. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
See?
I know. I thought my hands were cold. They're even colder. Doug, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.